Roll the intro. All right. Still working on it. Coming along. Hey, everyone. Today I got the King of Wands as the obstacle and the Queen of Swords as the opportunity. Two nice archetypal, human archetypes. I'm a big fan of these. So I'll go over what I covered briefly in the short videos put out. For this guy, it could be a woman, though, it's just an archetype. But I said, if you're dealing with this fiery conqueror archetype, remember two things. First, these are the types of individuals that playing hard to get was made for. They're almost entirely driven by overcoming challenges. Second, and perhaps more importantly, they will win and then they will move on to something new. So enjoy the ride while it lasts, but don't go making long-term plans. Yeah, I think this is this is a person of action, and they're good at it. Uh, could be by luck, could be because of just an unnaturally amazing amount of energy and vitality, or they could just have a talent for movement. This could also be a person that's just like a super sexy seducer type, and that's the realm in which they hold this hold this office of king or ruler or expert or archetype. And yeah, I think this is a if you encounter a person like this in your life, I think there's a bunch of ways to make this really kind of work for you. Um, Unfortunately, often when people encounter this kind of individual, they just get the short end of the stick. No pun intended. Hold on, I got a weird card here. What's going on? Yeah, this should be a wand. Sorry, oh, gone too far. um, but yeah, so this kind of individual. There we go. One of the common reactions to this kind of person is just someone like this comes into your life and then they just fuck shit up. They upset the balance of things because these people just are really good at um you know either hooking up, like for guys, for the straight guys. If this is a guy that shows up all of a sudden, you know like your girlfriend's getting hit on, your wife's making eyes at Mr. Super Seducer here, for straight women. Again, if we're dealing with this guy with this archetype as a guy, this person shows up maybe before you know you and your girlfriends were getting along. Now all of a sudden, maybe people start getting competitive for this guy, or it's just it's it's this highly effective, highly desirable, sexually desirable individual shows up and could just really stir things up, right? Um, often, often people just end up getting preoccupied with, the all the negative side effects of like that are associated with someone like this all of a sudden making an appearance in a person's life. It could also even be something a little bit more modern and removed, in the sense that this could represent being exposed to some particularly athletic or attractive or sexy, individual that's in the public eye, that's on social media, that's on television or movies, and then, just feeling like, okay, you're now compared to this person. Your physical health and athletic abilities are compared to this person now. Maybe you thought you were in pretty good shape. Probably, uh, even if you're even if you're like in the upper percentile, you still end up seeing someone who's just like a genius at athletics, martial arts, whatever, or like just super sexy, seductive, attractive person. There's always someone. There's always someone better, right? Um, and so, yeah, it could also just represent all the kind of negative emotions and feelings that get stirred up when being confronted with with something, that you could see as being ideal that maybe you feel like you can't attain. Now, there's a potential for a lot of advantages when dealing with this kind of individual. I mean, for one, you got to recognize that your own ideas about yourself, your the way you see yourself, your identity can be challenged, right? If you thought of yourself as a pretty cool person, well, now there's someone cool around. But these kinds of people also tend to get a lot done. Now, they tend to get a lot of different things done, and they tend to move really quickly from project to project. But there are a couple ways to sort of tap into the energy, which for these kinds of archetypes, often it seems like it's like just endless, boundless energy. These people like never get tired. But yeah, so there's a way to tap into that, and these archetypes anyway are highly inspired and driven by overcoming challenges, um, finishing some sort of collection. Uh, but like, yeah, you tell a person like this that there's this thing that all these different people have tried, and so far none of them have gotten it, and this person won't be able to help themselves. They'll just be like, let me at it, right? So does it really matter if that's true? Like they won't care as long as they feel like there's something that they're overcoming. That's what inspires them. That's what they look for. Yeah, with like as I mentioned, like playing hard to get was made for these types of individuals because for them it's the thrill of the chase, the thrill of seducing and conquering individuals. Um, like it in a way it's kind of funny, like if there's a let's say there's like some really really attractive person, male or female, that normally is the object of desire. If they were to essentially throw themselves at this kind of individual, there's a good chance that they would end up getting rejected, which is like hilarious and weird, right? But they would be like this King of Wands archetype. It's just like the easy stuff. It's like, why bother? Who cares? Um, and yeah, and I think it's important to remember that you can tag along for a project or whatever. But I mean, unless you're really, really efficient and skilled at repeatedly coming up with fascinating and inspiring challenges for an individual like this, they're gonna pop into your life. Some crazy shit's gonna happen, then they'll be gone, right? Um, so yeah, I think that that's one of those things where if you know what you're getting into, you could have a lot of fun. Or this is an individual that you could employ at your company or get them to help with. I don't know. You're building a deck, right? Is this the kind of person that you could call up and say, "Hey, man, you want to help me? Uh, I'm building my deck today." No, they're gonna say no. You want to call them up and say, "Hey, listen, I'm building my deck, and there's this like international deck building challenge where like people compete to see how quickly they could put together a deck. Do you want to help me out? Like, if we could do it in under 2 hours, it's like we'll be the best in the country." They're like, boom, they're there, right? Can you repeatedly do that? Maybe, maybe not, right? But but yeah, I think as long as you treat the presence of an archetype like this as kind of like a vacation, it's you're not going on vacation forever. So like while you're there, do the fun vacationy things, do the things that are like out of the ordinary for you. But yeah, this person is very mercurial. They're gonna be all over the place. And then on the opportunity, even though I guess those were the opportunities for the King of Wands, yeah, Queen of Swords. I think the oh yeah, what I wrote about this archetype is this is archetype symbolizes someone who's like retreated to a life of cold facts and reason, generally or usually provoked by some sort of emotional loss that has left a painful scar, emotionally. but that they are the person to go to for knowledge and wisdom, so long as you steer clear of those sensitive topics that they are traumatized by. Um, so yeah, I think that covers it pretty well. Um, you know, people often people often have shitty things happen to them, and often, you know, they have a really hard time just incorporating whatever that event was back into their life, or the environment that event took place in. So sometimes people are betrayed by facts and science, and then they're like, never again, right? This would not be that kind of individual. This would be, quite the opposite. This would be someone who probably had some sort of painful falling out or surprise, or just something shitty happened because of either something that they were doing emotionally, either because of a relationship that they weren't being logical about. It could have been They could have been creative. They could have been pursuing creative goals, or focusing on their instincts and their movements. This is pretty much this. It's like this Queen of Swords archetype used to be, used to be maybe like a Knight of Cups, or a Knight of Wands, or a Knight of Pentacles, and they were out there, they were doing something, and things got really nasty and really ugly, and they retreated back to this sort of position. And so now they're just like, I live in a world of knowledge and facts, and I don't get involved in emotions or creativity or whatever, any of these superfluous things. It's like, no, we're just here about the knowledge, the philosophy, the facts, the study. And and because because this person is so, negatively motivated by avoiding that trauma, avoiding that pain, they run from it so diligently. That makes this type of archetype extremely well educated in whatever field they're in, because that's essentially, some people like deal with stress by eating. That's their sort of escape. Some people are like, I don't know, watch TV, do drugs, try and get laid, whatever. This is the kind of individual that just like buries themselves in the books, in the data, crunching numbers. That's that's their way of dealing with that trauma that persistently keeps coming up, and that makes them, I guess, if you're going to be dealing with trauma, uh, the activity that you used to deal with it might as well make you a scientific genius expert, as opposed to making you, I don't know, you know, fat and out of shape and addicted to drugs, or who knows, right? But yeah, so this person is like super super well educated. Now uh, queens are, they're like very much within their suit. Kings will sort of look outside. They'll look to things outside of their bubble, their environment. But queens are very much so encased in like what they do, what they know. They're very much just about the internal economy of a suit. Um, so the limits of the knowledge and wisdom and, intellectual expertise of this archetype will end where the suit ends. So this isn't the person to go to about matters of love and interpersonal relationships, right? Like cups oriented stuff. This is not the person to go to for creativity and, you know, athletics and sexuality, like the wand stuff. It's not the person to go to necessarily for like for money. Like it feels like I'm just covering like all the things I find interesting. I want money, I want to get laid, and I want to be creative. Um, no, I see this. This is an individual where it's like, if you're dealing with if you're dealing with philosophy, if you're dealing with words, if you're dealing with information, you know. So I would see this more as like someone who could give really good meta advice. Like maybe this person won't, maybe they won't tell you what stock to invest in, but they will be very well read on how investments and stocks work, like in general, like the intellectual sort of ideas and the methods of investing and like those kinds of things. So I certainly think that you can get information and guidance out of these people that will certainly contribute wildly to your ability to get money, creative ideas, your ability to, have relationships or whatever. But that is not directly something that they are going to be expert in. And also, it's in one of those areas that their trauma likely lies. So you gotta be careful if you want this person to be someone who is happy to give you advice and to help you out with things. You want to make sure that you're not sort of turning their attention back to the very thing that they're trying to escape from. And it'll probably become pretty obvious dealing with this person because you'll touch on a topic and then they're just going to get really upset, right? So that's like, okay, we don't talk about that, and they just don't don't go there. That's an area where they probably won't be rational and wise and knowledgeable anyway. And this also often creates like a, what would you call it, like a schism, I guess, where someone who knows that they're rational and intelligent and well read, it's really difficult for them to see themselves acting irrationally and doing and saying things that they know are, in retrospect, they're like, I don't even believe that. Why would I say that? So it's like, for their sake, for your sake, if you want to keep being able to, interact with this person and get the benefits of that relationship. And yeah, people like this, like they're really, they are really happy to talk about ideas. This is a really good person to approach for, to seek judgment from, right? Like scientific judgment. And as long as you keep things really dry and sort of unemotional, this person will be really good at weighing the facts. Um, yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up there. Thanks for watching. Drop me a like if you enjoyed the video and a comment. You can comment free reading, please, if you would like to be entered into the draw for the free weekly one-on-one reading. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.